All right, welcome everybody to our Zoom Up. My name is Michael Huggins, coming to you live from Tennessee, where we're here to inspire you to get off your butt and do some real estate. I'm joined today by my co-host, Scott. What's up, Scott Rowe?
What's happening, Michael, out there in Tennessee?
Yeah, man, we're loving it. It's a beautiful day. How's Chicago treating you?
Chicago's good. We're still empty here, though. We're opening up, though. So slowly but surely, the whole Illinois is getting opened up. So
good. We are bringing the world back to normal.
We are.
And folks, if you're just getting introduced to us, we did not skip a beat. In 2020, 2021, we kept charging forward. Some of our colleagues have had the best year they've ever had financially. I know that's weird to say when some other people are having their worst year, but inside of our space, people are setting record numbers with their income. And so we want to highlight that. There's some amazing people doing some big stuff. So just as a reminder, you're going to want to get more details about who we are and what we do after this. Get back with the person who invited you here to get an intro, a house tour, and a workshop. These are all by invitation only, so you'll need to get those private links so that you can attend those. And just understand that real estate is risky, and you want to surround yourself with professionals. Cool.
let's just kick it.
I'm excited, man. Let's do this. So I got introduced to our guest today just simply through a text. Someone told me, hey, this guy's crushing it. You need to hear about him. I know he's on the East Coast, and he's made some big moves in the short-term rental space. But other than that, I don't know much about him.
I got something to say.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I got a chance to travel out to DC for 6 months as I was hopping around these different communities helping them out. And fortunately, I got to hang out in DC where Van Dang was actually helping other people, right? So this young man was part of our study group sessions that we now have around the country. So he was taken on a study group, helping folks move forward with their real estate investing careers. So he is a giver. And that's what I love most about a lot of the folks in this group here is they're not holding back, they're helping out. So it's awesome.
Nice. That's what this is about. There's no way I could have done what I did starting out at making $13 an hour, not even $12.50 an hour.
Yeah. What were you doing? Now you're bringing it up.
Yeah. So folks, when I first got introduced to this group, I was changing oil 60, 70 hours a week, barely making 30 grand a year, behind on my bills and my promises. And I hated it. And so because of people that showed up, like how Van shows up for his community, I got doors open to me that otherwise wouldn't have opened. And now in my first 9 months of being involved in the program, I replaced my job's income with a real estate deal and have not had a job since. And now I'm working on a big land development deal, 265 acres we just bought, and a big cabin. And we're going to be building out a big theme park kind of thing. It's going to be fun. So the community, this is the whole point behind this, is the community support and this process. You can't find anything else like it other than right here. So you're in the right place at the right time. Stay connected with us. Cool. So
let me do this.
Sure.
Since as I'm looking down the attendance list, I've been part of this group the longest. There you go. I've seen it go from little bitty, tiny little thing, one office to what we got around the country today. So it's been great.
Yeah, every state. It's a beautiful thing.
I saw both of you guys come in. How's that sound? I remember you when you were new, and I remember Van when he was new. So
nice. All right, charging forward. We really appreciate it. So, folks, stay connected with us. There's more after this. Now let's jump into it. So, help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Van Dang.
Van Dang, everybody. DC.
What's up, Van? Tell us about where you came from, why you got linked up with us, and what you've done so far.
Sure. Okay. So, little disclosure, I talk a little fast. So if I lose anybody, just ask me to repeat myself, put questions in the chat box. I'll answer your questions and I'll repeat myself if I have to. So a little bit about myself. My name is Van Dang. Army veteran, served 6 years active duty. Once I got out of the military, came back to the States. I went to the West Coast. I was living in California. So went into the private sector of IT. That's my background, IT. I lived there 3 years. So around 2017, I got an offer to come over to the East Coast here to work in the DC, Maryland, Virginia, other known as DMV. I came into town. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any family. I didn't know anything. So I was working, trying to, get to know the area, the people better, going to network meetings. But I was working these crazy hours. I was working like 80, 90 hours a week. And sometimes I actually fall asleep in the parking lot and then wake up and go back to work. So I knew there had to be some kind of change. So I'm like, I got to find something else different. So along those little network meetings, I found something called real estate investing. So I have no background in real estate investing. I didn't know what it was. I really had no interest in fixing and flipping houses or anything like that. But I went to a meeting. I got to know the people. They told me they had a system and process in place. So coming from IT background, I'm a data person. I want to know if there's something there to better, myself. I want to know if it's able to be absorbed, able to be broken down, and able to be replicated. So I was like, cool, they have all that. And the best thing about it is there's a local community. So I could attend either in person, virtually or in person, and they have both offers. So I'm like, great, this is awesome because I like control, and I like to know there's a system and process in place. So I joined the community around March of 2018, and then luckily in April of 2018, they had this thing called a study group, which Scott mentioned. So study groups helped out a lot because I'm trying to absorb the information of the education, but sometimes it's kind of lonely because you're like, who do I talk to about some questions I may have? So that is study groups. So the study groups ran from April, May, June. So from April through June, what I was doing was I was watching education and I was taking action steps. They actually give you steps to take. All you do is watch it and just do what they tell you. So I was able to secure my personal finances, fix that up. There's a credit class for that. And then I started working on something called my business side. So I understand what kind of structure to have regarding the business entity, how to save on taxes, because a lot of conversations I had with people who are actually doing deals, the biggest mistakes they ever had was get into a transaction, but not being correctly set up. So they were paying more in taxes and not keeping any of that money. So I didn't want to be one of those guys. So I just, I went and did the right thing. And then I started working on something called business credit. If you guys don't know what business credit is, that's one of the things you need to work on, especially in these times, because literally the government, these special programs out there, they pretty much give away money. All you gotta do is make sure you have your business stuff set up. So they helped out a lot. And then I realized the area I was in, the DMV area, there's a lot of government workers, and these people working crazy hours more than I was. So they were working, but their money was going towards a retirement account, which they didn't know they didn't have control of. So there's a class called, self-directed IRA. I was like, wow, cool. So if I can show them, have a conversation, introduce them, so, if I can show you how to double or triple your rate of return in current investment, would you be interested in, investing in real estate with me? And people were like, sure, show me the numbers. So I was able to do that. And then there's a class called Private Hard Money, where they give you scripts to actually have these conversations, how to pick up on, key tones. And there's another class called Negotiations, where you can actually position yourself and body language and all this stuff. And I was like, this is all cool. I want to be able to use all this. So I went through my first round of study groups, and I was talking to the leadership people in the community in the local area, and they're all like, hey, I think I can make the study group better. They're like, oh yeah, how? I'm like, well, I'm doing all this stuff. If I was able to show a handful of people to do the same thing, wouldn't it be cool? They're like, yeah, sure, why not? So they gave me a shot, and I was able to do the same thing with everybody else. And then luckily in the area I was in, they were doing fix and flips. So I didn't know I like fix and flips. I had to watch this class called Understand Your Investor ID. It kind of hones in on your strengths and weaknesses to be able to determine what it is you want to do. And I wanted to do fix and flips. So I shadow in with a group on a couple of deals to understand the process, because a lot of times when you're absorbing the education, sometimes fear might hold you back from taking those steps. But when you're doing it with a group of people, your fear kind of dies down and you want to take more action, just keep up with everybody. So basically from July through about August, I was doing study groups and I was shadowing. So around end of September, October, November, we found a deal. So it took us 2 weeks to close it. More in the education, you can watch regarding that about how to get funding. And then so October, 2 weeks, closed on deal. We flipped the house in 6 weeks, crazy. And then took another 30 days to close. So from September to December, we made $85,000 pure profit. So it was myself, my now fiance, which I met through this community here. So I did meet my fiance here. And then we're getting married this year, by the way.
Nice.
Congratulations.
So you found a career and a wife.
Yeah, exactly, which is awesome. So so it's me, her, and one other person, and we made $85,000 on there. So I was like, wow, this is what most people make in a year. And I did within a quarter. So how can I do this again? So pretty much we took the process, we duplicated, and we've been good ever since. But that was the end of it. So around May of 2019, I was like, hey, I'm doing pretty well. I can walk away from my job now, because I was still doing all this part-time flips and fixing flips. And then it was draining. I'm like, oh my God, I can't sleep. I was getting all these crazy pillowcases under my eye. I got like grays everywhere. So I look like a wizard, like just white hair and stuff like that. Anyways, so around May 2019, they told about this new class coming out. It's called short-term rentals. And the guy that was teaching the class, I was like, wow, I need to get on this. And what's cool about this community is you can actually go to a live recording and see what's going on, talk to instructors, talk to other community members around the nation, and seeing what's going on in their market. So I was able to do that. So me and my fiance, we were there for about a week in May. We came back, and then from about June to about December, 6 months, we did 6 figures in sales from those short-term rentals. It's crazy because the guy has showed us a screenshot of what he was doing. We're like, no way. But when we came back, we actually did it, and we're like, wow, this really works. So between short-term rentals and fix and flips, what happened was we were able to build some capital on the side. So now what we're doing is we're kind of scaling our business. Now, even though last year was a crazy year for most, Michael, I think pretty much hit the nose on the dot right there. If you're hooked up with the right community, with the right education, you can correct things to prevent failures. So that's what we did. 2020 was a really successful year for us. So now our project for 2021 is we're working on the 16 unit apartment building, acquiring it through something called seller financing. So it's low upfront costs, and we're able to gain something from it, and then improve our cash flow.
Are you gonna keep it?
That's the plan.
You're gonna short term it or long term rental?
So so basically it's about 85% occupied right now.
Okay.
So we got like a couple of units, and we talked to the landlord and the county, make sure all that stuff was in order, and they do allow that. So we're able to, I guess, like segment like a part of the building for that, because it has its own entryway and everything like that.
That's great.
Nice.
Van, I don't ask women this, but I'm gonna ask you, how old are you, man? You don't look that old.
I know, just after I got rid of that job, years back.
I mean, you don't look great. I mean, unless you're doing the Grecian formula. But how old are you?
No, I'm 35.
35. All right. You look
Nice.
good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You look like you're in your 20s. You look seriously.
Way cool.
You probably still get carded.
I do, actually.
I bet, dude.
They told me start worrying when you stop getting carded.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
you got any
cool.
questions there? Okay, so I want to get clear. The first deal, you talked about that $85,000. How long were you in? Did you start from started the classes to that first deal? How much time was that? So you actually locked that up and started working on it.
So from when I first joined, day one, put on the ground to the building to sign the contract and starting the demo.
Yeah.
It's here, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, about 6 months.
6 months. That's a good number,
Yeah.
man. It's a good
Yes.
number. So if you're listening to this recording, we've got a lot of these recordings that people are actually in their first deals inside of the first 6 months. In my case, my third month had the first house under contract. So I don't know. What do you have, Michael? What was your?
Getting my first house under contract took 3 months. It was a short sale that took us 6 months to negotiate. We
takes some
got
time,
paid
for
in
sure.
9 months.
Yeah, I've seen short sales go 2 years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. We had like 30 under contract inside of 6 months, and then we were able to execute on about 8 of those, and the other ones, banks wouldn't approve them. Okay, so Van, I got a question. What were you doing in the military? What was your role?
So I'm not sure anybody out there is military, but I serve in the operations sector. So more command control than operator, if that makes sense. So I was in the front lines, but I was the guy behind the scenes making things happen, moving stuff to make sure, but I served in special ops, so I was overseas. Yeah, so how would I describe it? Yeah, just command control.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
You weren't listen, you weren't like command controlling the cafeteria food, right? Like,
No. I score a little
that's
higher.
a big word for cook or something, right? Like,
No. I score a little
Just
higher.
talk about C3I.
Oh, that's funny.
Nigel?
I don't know what you just said, Nigel.
Nigel, I could hardly hear him. Okay.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, Van is talking about C3I. That's what you're talking about, Van?
Oh,
C3I.
command control.
Oh no, so I was in the army, so they call a position 37 Fox a psyops. So that's what I was doing.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
So how many doors do you have now? Do you have any rentals now besides the 16 unit you're chasing down, or have you done
Yeah.
short-term cash deals?
We have 3 rentals right now. I'm just waiting for when they stop the forbearance on people not paying the mortgage because it's going to go crazy. And
I think so too, man. I think we're about to hit a huge buyer's market for sure.
yeah, for real. And then because my fiance is a realtor and she's looking the market every day is like crazy. She's like, man, as soon as they stop this, it's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of opportunities. So now's the time to buckle down and get educated. Turn off the Netflix and turn on your classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's a good point, Michael, because if people get started with us now, they're like, all right, so 6 months seems to be this theme, right? I gotta get ramped up, get into the community, find out who's who, find out what's what, so that 6 months from now, we're talking about, summer here, you'll be primed and ready to actually start looking at deals and taking them down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
Yeah.
point, guys. When they say that you don't want to dig your well when you're thirsty.
That's a good one, dude.
Cool. So, Van, tell us what it was like to comfortably and securely walk away from your job, like ramping up for that, putting in the 2-week notice, or tell us how that went.
Yeah, so it was kind of like the movies. Like inside, I knew I was leaving, and then everybody outside was like just acting normal. I was like having like evil laughs, like, "Oh, this is gonna be awesome." So I was just like every day I was going. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just go through it. They don't even know what's gonna happen. Yeah, literally. Like, what's that movie called? Office Space, where he burns the building down. Yeah. Somebody take this red stapler.
Right.
No, but it was good. It was good. Just inside knowing that, if you put the work, like what this is saying, it's like everything works, but nothing doesn't. So I knew that I put enough time and effort into it, and the only way I can get better is if I put more time and effort into it. So walking away from that job, I was like, okay, great. Now I got more time and effort. And then somebody else told me this when I first joined too, was like, if you can't make money doing this part-time, you won't be able to do this full-time. So I was able to learn how to do that. So I had the discipline and know how. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm good now because if I can do this part-time, I know I can do it full-time.
I want to add something to that, to be honest with you, right?
That's awesome.
If you're trying to do it by yourself part-time, it's going to be hard, right? Because you'll take on another job, right? But if you're connected to this group and you're in the events, right? So you're in study group with hundreds of people, then you go to result mingle with hundreds of people. And the idea here is that you're going to be plugged into people and you're going to be hearing about the deal done. And you may even have an opportunity. You may have a property. I've seen this happen a lot where somebody has a deal in study group and somebody's like, hey, I can walk on my bank and sign on a dotted line. We could get that thing funded. It looks like a good deal. So if you're trying to do this by yourself, the easiest way to do it part-time, I like what Van just said, because if you can't do it part-time, you're not going to do it full-time. I wouldn't suggest anybody quit their jobs to try and take on real estate full-time, right? Until they've done some stuff part-time with a group like this, for sure.
Yeah, that's a major key. Don't jump the gun. And I didn't quit my job until I closed on that big check too. There's some responsible actions you got to take, and so we lay that foundation for everybody. And we got people who come in here have already done 500 deals and love our program, and some people are like me that didn't even know what the heck hard money was. I thought it was a box of quarters. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Oh my gosh. All right, I got a story. I got a guy in our group here. His name is Patrick McCrinny. He's got, I don't know, 38 rentals now, but he came in with the job and he used his own retirement plan. So he went self-directed. He's kept his job, used a retirement plan to do a couple fix and flips, right? While he still had his job, and like, all right, I now have this thing down to a point I got the math, I can quit my job. And he was older, right? He was in his maybe just late 50s, early 60s when he started with us. But I love what you just said. That's the theme of this one, baby.
Yeah.
If you can't do a part-time, don't do a full-time. But if you're going to do a part-time, do it with a group that you can have wheels turn in the back. You come off of work. Now you're talking to a partner that that you're like, hey, what about that deal? Like, oh yeah, I found this out today. So working with a group is going to help you a lot quicker, get stuff done a lot quicker than it is trying to push that train. Right.
Yep, you're gonna want to sit.
There's already a train. There's already a train rolling. You might as well jump on it part-time, right?
Might as
But
well.
if you got to come off of work and then start pushing the train again, it's a little harder to do real estate. But you hang out with a group like this, it's gonna make it a lot easier.
Right. So link arms with us, folks. Get back with the person that got you here today or got you this recording, and get those next video series. Van, did you come to an intro? That was your first.
Yeah.
Meeting, right?
I
Scott,
went
you
to an
can do
intro,
it.
and like what Scott was saying right there, it's all about that. Because when I went to an intro, they're all talking about this community and everybody's helping right out. I was like, whatever, we'll see. So I was pleasantly surprised.
All right.
I
So
have to say-
hold on a second. I'm with you on this because there might be somebody on the line that heard that. What? So you're in the intro going, whatever, because we're talking about this stuff in the intro. When were you
Yeah.
convinced that there was a community? At what point what exposure did you see? They're like, wow, there is a community.
Yeah, so I was fortunate because I went to the intro meeting and I heard stuff and I was like, okay, I gotta see more. So then they had a property tour, luckily. So I went to a property tour and then everybody there was kind of goofy. I'll be honest, everybody was pretty goofy. So I was like, they're like too goofy.
Way to be honest, buddy. You're like, where
Yeah,
they hand
still-
out? Did they hand out drugs before this property tour? Because y'all goofy.
Some goofy people.
Goofy.
Yeah, I
people.
was like, there's no way they're this goofy and they're not legit because they're having too much fun.
Okay,
Nice.
so Goofy was good, huh?
Yeah, Goofy was good. So I was like,
Nice.
okay. And then I started talking some more. And then you just have conversations with people and you just realize they actually honestly care. So I'm like, all right, they care. So let's see what else they got. And then I got a preview of the education, see how it worked. I'm like, okay, so if I do these things and listen to this and take these actions.
How did you do
and then
that? How'd you get a preview? Because there's somebody that's listening to this recording going, how do I get a preview? How'd you get a preview?
Follow up.
Follow up. Okay.
Go to a follow-up, or if you're lucky enough, try to schedule a one-on-one with whomever, and then they can have that conversation with you. So instead of like having, trying to get your questions answered, you have a one-on-one, which I did. Like I did the intro, I did the property tour, I did the follow-up, I did the one-on-one. I want all my questions answered. I'm like, if I'm getting into this, if I'm going to commit, I want to commit all the way. So
Nice.
I
I was the opposite. Within 10 minutes of walking in the room, I knew this is where I wanted to be.
Or like 10 minutes. That's it, huh?
That was it, man.
I know,
The
oh
people
boy.
were so genuine.
You
I
know,
loved it.
technically, me too. My wife dragged me down to a meeting, and I met the nurse, and I met a nurse with the properties and firefighter with the properties, and an XR teacher. The XR teacher had more money coming in than going out, and he wasn't fighting traffic anymore. And that's all I needed. I'm like, I want to be him. I just want a
Right.
peace of mind without fighting traffic. And I was like, I was in quick.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't want to go to the meeting, my wife dragged me down to the meeting. Right? She's, you're going. And I'm like, nah, I'm not a dog and pony show. Are you kidding me? But when I walked in and, and my wife's are later, so she's dragging me around to different people and they were so successful. I'm like, all right, they're kicking our butts. Let's get started.
Let's get started.
You were right.
You got to be coachable, folks, if you want it to work.
Yep.
Well, cool. And then what an amazing story. Thank you for taking some time today to be our special guest. We're really honored by that. And thank you for your service. And
I got one last question for him.
Sure.
I want to be recorded. Now, who's your favorite community member, Umair or Yaz?
They both have their thing. Like like I like
No,
the
you can only pick one, Umair or Yaz. Pick
Umair and
wisely.
Yas.
don't
I
fall
guess
for
because
it.
Yas is on right now. She's back at me.
There you go. I see Yaz on too. I'm like, who's your
Yeah, she's
favorite,
like, just-
Umair or
Just
Yaz?
laser eyes.
Look at her.
Nice.
She's like, oh, pick me. All right, I'm
Awesome.
done. I'm done goofing around. Goofy.
Cool.
All right.
All right, folks, we'll stay around. We got 2 bonus questions after the recording for all the live attendees here. And if you can attend live, we're doing these Monday through Friday at noon Mountain Time. So stay connected to the people that got you here because there's way more than meets the eye. And so it's your opportunity and your I'd say obligation almost to investigate this and see if it's right for you. So we'll see you at our next workshop, house tour and intro.
Folks,
Sound
stick
good?
around for the bonus questions. If you're watching this recording, better get on live one to see these bonus questions. So.
All right. Thanks, everyone.